welcome to the stage James Atwater, from regional agency lead Seedtag. John Kershaw, who's the managing director of PhD in Manchester. Woo. Kate Bradbury from Wavemaker, deputy managing director. And Chris Turner, who's the managing partner, head of programmatic services for Essence Mediacom.
Hello everybody, can you hear us? Someone give us a wave, give us a nod, brilliant, amazing. Hi everyone in the back. It's great to be here today. Thank you for joining us at this panel session. I can't see anything.
It's blinding, isn't it?
It's blinding, yeah. I was going to introduce myself and these guys. I don't need to do that, it's been done for us, thank you. We're really excited to be here today at the first ever UpNorth in Manchester, among so many inspiring people and brands. Today we're going to be discussing ideas around the title of our session, which is that innovation and creativity do not require a London postcode. We're going to talk about the strengths of agencies outside of London, the great people, obviously, talk about some of the great work that's been done, and touch on some of the challenges that have been, kind of come into focus again recently. Don't need to introduce you guys, so that job's been done for me. We're going to jump straight into it. We've got loads to cover. So the first question we're going to think about is like the market overall. So how would each of you describe the current state of the media market outside of London? What would you say are the current opportunities and challenges, and perhaps what are those that you would highlight at the moment? Kate, I'll come to you first if that's okay.
Yeah, I think there's lots of opportunities, lots of challenges, and if you know me very well, I'm an eternal optimist, so I like to think about the opportunity rather than focus on the challenges. I think lots of the challenges we have are the same as our London counterparts. Some are, slightly different and have been quite well documented over the last few months. But thinking about the opportunity that we have, Manchester is a great city, recently voted the most livable city by The Economist. We have a fantastic talent pool. We've got talent who are regularly recognised on the national stage in 30 Under 30, the I-List, Media Leader, Future 100. We've got fabulous agency brands, so network agencies investing in campuses like ourselves and Dentsu, a whole range of growing and vibrant independents. And we produce great work. Our work is, as good as, sometimes even better than our London counterparts. So I think we have everything, all the ingredients to really grow the industry in Manchester.
Absolutely, here. Chris, anything you want to add to that?
Well, Kate and I work in the same building, so she's covered off quite a few. This is very surreal as well, isn't it?
The sound is
good. But whole experience. But I think obviously it's a tough market at national level, so that's almost like a universal truth. But I think it's both a challenge and an opportunity because they're not mutually exclusive points to one another. And I think your viewpoint might be shaped by the nature of the organisation you work in or the agency you work in. As Kate said, we've got a fantastic campus that we operate out of, which is a pleasure and a joy to be in every day. And I think as part of a network agency, one of the benefits we've seen across time is kind of almost like the counter to the conversation a little bit. So the ability to kind of operate as one, so not necessarily always talk about London in the north or London v the regions. To be able to kind of like collaborate with good individuals in different locations, on clients at a UK level. So, I think the future's positive, more of that, but it is obviously a challenging market at a broader level.
Great, thank you. Well said. Okay, next question I'm going to think about is kind of key industry challenges overall. What would you say are the biggest obstacles, challenges that non-London media agencies are facing currently? Kate, I'll come to you again first, if that's okay.
I think you've kind of summed up the first challenge in your use of non-London. Sorry, I don't mean to tag
No, it's a hot topic. We're going to talk about it a lot.
That instantly suggests that we are different than our London counterparts, and often, different by what I mean is inferior, not as good. I think, and I don't think that's true. So I think we have a perception problem. The perception being that the talent isn't as good, our work isn't as good. You don't get as much out of a career in Manchester or the North, and I think we all know that's bullshit. So there is just something about us having to shout louder and prouder about the great work that we do here in Manchester.
Yeah, definitely. I know you've mentioned award wins in the past as well, like not calling out if it's a North specific award.
Yeah, we as Wavemaker won several awards in kind of national awards. So we do really well at the MPA Awards up here, but also at Media Week and the Drum Awards. And one of the problems we have is that we work so closely with our London colleagues that when we are awarded something at the Drum Awards, it's just called out as being Wavemaker, and unfortunately everyone assumes that that is therefore Wavemaker in London, because we don't want to call out that it's Wavemaker Manchester or Wavemaker North, because we are one company. But actually we do need to think about that a little bit, because the perception is if we are on stage winning something at the Content Awards for Remington, that it's our colleagues in London that have done that work, when it's actually
definitely shout about our successes more. John, anything you would add? I know you've got some great opinions on this.
Yeah, so look, I would say the challenges for agencies outside London are no different, because our clients' challenges are no different. Everyone's facing a tough economy, changing usage of media, changing audience behaviours, etc. So the challenges in that respect are no different. What I would say is, I think maybe there's a thing to think about in terms of salience. I would say, we talk about salience to our clients all of the time, and I would say probably we need to think about it from our perspective of our own businesses. I don't believe there is any great conspiracy against the North, right? It's not. I honestly don't think that's true. But what is true is if the majority of our industry is based in London, you say to somebody in any marketing discipline, you say, can you name me some good agencies? They're going to recommend those agencies that come to mind most easily, which means they're probably going to be based in London or people they've worked with more recently. So to Kate's point, the work we produce in this region and actually across the whole of the North is incredible. I think the challenge for us is to shout about that much louder and make sure that work is recognised, so we increase the understanding and salience of our businesses, and not just those in London.
Definitely. I think that's a really valid point about the intermediaries, and we know that some of them are here today, so it's on us to build relationships with those people and shout about what we do. That's also a nice segue into our next question, which is a bit of a hot topic at the moment. The word regional in itself, people have got very strong feelings about this. Is it an unfair limitation in itself? Is there something else that we should use in its place? Is it putting a misconception or the incorrect perception of what agencies outside of London do? John, I'll stay with you if that's okay.
So look, I'm not particularly a fan of the word regional, because from our perspective, I wouldn't describe PhD Manchester as a regional media agency. We are a national and international media agency that happens to be based in Manchester. So there's a challenge there. The other challenge thing with the word regional is it does sort of aggregate all the agencies outside London into one amorphous mass, when actually what we know is each city region has its own vibrancy, its own diversity, and can bring different things to the mix. So I'm not a huge fan of the term. I think the challenge is what do you replace it with?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a question to the audience, what would we replace it with? Please tell us your thoughts afterwards. There's a Slido available within the MAD app, so I'm going to ask that question to the audience. We definitely want to know what you think, so please give us your thoughts and opinions. Thinking about highlighting the strengths of the work that's being done up here, we want to showcase some of the innovation and creativity. Could you tell us what are some of the innovative strategies that you've employed, or some of the great campaigns that you've worked on that showcase your innovative thinking and creativity? Chris, anything you'd call out there?
Yeah, I think to go to my earlier point, I do think a key thing, certainly with a network agency, which is my experience really, so it's the only thing I can talk of, I think a key thing is to make sure that you collaborate across the network, so to not necessarily have these London, Manchester, London, Leeds kind of like divides. I think in terms of us showcasing our value or input into that point, James, from an Essence MediaCom perspective, we've developed functions directly out in the north. So our programmatic services team, which is now a UK function, was developed out of the Manchester office. We're, as a digital department more broadly, we're very keen on showcasing the work we do in terms of awards, both from an internal pride perspective, but also making people clear that this has come from Essence MediaCom North. It's good work. So our it's an odd one because Andy can't shout out because we're on this dynamic here, but Andy of the search team recently won a major Google European award, I think. Our SEO team did. Recently, our programmatic team won a European Video Award. Again, going up against London agencies, if you want to put it that way. And I think maybe we just need to try and look at it, certainly from a network perspective, more simplistically, get people in the network working together, collaborating on clients. There's talent in all the locations, put the best people together, demonstrate the work.
Yeah, nice. I know you've done some really cool stuff with AI on like internal tools as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I forgot that point. I mean, Kenny Skelton, who's now recently moved into a role within Choreograph, which is the data analytics function within Group M, essentially developed Sidekick, which is almost like our base AI tool and platform in Essence Mediacom North. That then migrated itself out to Essence Mediacom London, so Essence Mediacom. That then made its way across Group M, wider WPP, and then Kenny subsequently ended up in Choreograph, driving. A key focus of his role now is developing our AI proposition that came out of the Manchester office.
Great example of great work coming out of Manchester and being adopted anywhere else. Kate, I think you had a nice example of some great work that you've done recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think just Chris's point about the work is really important. If you create great work, people will want to work for you and clients will want to work with you. And I'm getting a bit boring now, aren't I, just talking about the same thing. But, you know, the work that, thank you for Sidekick, it's great. But also we have, again, you know, in the North we have some centres of excellence. So we have our SEO Centre of Excellence for, it's not even just the UK, I'm going to say global. No one, hopefully someone won't correct me. So if we continue to create work like that, then people will want to work with us. So we did won several awards last year, similar to Chris, and they were, yes, in Manchester at the MPAs, but also kind of on that national stage as well, showing that we can and regularly do compete, whether that was maybe some of you were on the main stage earlier listening to Emma and Gavin from Jet2 talk about some of the award-winning work we've done with their Vibe brand, their youth package holiday brand, taking it from 0 to #1 in 3 years. So we've won Drum Content Awards and some others that I now can't remember. And then some fabulous work that we've done with Remington, which was kind of busting the category norms, taking out of that kind of perfect, kind of stylized thing that you normally see in kind of beauty, and really taking some diverse, inclusive and really interesting stories about how personal and emotive the hair is. And again, we've won a plethora of awards for that, and it's that kind of stuff that makes clients want to work with you and people want to work for you.
I've seen that campaign with Lady Bushra, it's amazing. I'm also a big fan of Remington products. Other shaving products are available.
No,
that's a nice segue on people, actually. Thinking about the talent attraction and retention for people outside of London, how can agencies in this region or outside of London attract and retain top talent? John, how would you say we can do that more?
Well, look, a couple of things. First thing is I spent about 11 years living and working in London. Loved it. It's brilliant. And I would never discourage anybody from doing that if they wanted to do that. The thing that I would always take issue with is the idea that you have to move to London to build a great media career. And I think what it's incumbent upon us is to create the roles for those people. So, you know, that the organisations like the BBC, Channel 4 have seen the opportunity to tap into talent in places like Salford and Leeds, which is incredible. From our perspective, obviously, we're in Manchester. Omnicom Media Group's recently invested in an office in Newcastle, which from a standing start is on track to have around 100 people by the end of this year. Our Manchester and Newcastle businesses tap into Omnicom Media Group's agency as a platform approach. So what that means is we've got exactly the same access to the technology, the tools, all of the talent that sits at the centre of our organisation, the trading capability. So anything that clients could want is here. What we need to do is invest in the roles, and then the talent will stay. That's the main thing from my perspective.
Absolutely, love that. We're running out of time rapidly. Where's that gone?
You were right.
Yeah, crazy. The last question and last point we want to think about is kind of future thinking. What would success look like for agencies outside of London in the next 5 years? What needs to happen to keep this market strong and robust? Are there any kind of actionable solutions or strategies that we should be employing? John, I'll stay with you if that's okay.
Okay, so look, success is thriving businesses, right? And for us, that means a bunch of people who are talented, motivated, working really hard to help our clients outpace, outthink, outgrow their competitors. And I see that on a daily basis. That I shout out to my team, who I think are absolutely amazing, and I definitely don't tell them often enough. But there's some amazing work coming out of this region. Like I say, we need to shout about that more.
Definitely.
In terms of actionable solutions, there's various different ways this could go, right? But one of the suggestions I've heard is this idea of there being like a Rooney rule, the idea that intermediaries and clients might kind of be forced to put a non-London agency on pitch lists. Honestly, I'm not a massive fan of that idea, not because I don't think we shouldn't be on those lists, but because I think we deserve to be there on merit. Absolutely. So the thing I would really push for is to say, if I were a marketeer looking for a new agency, I would want an agency on that list that came with a different perspective, right? And I would want an agency that had the same access to tools, tech, talent that the London agencies have got, but also more intuitively understands how the 87% of people who don't live in London live their lives. Because if I were a marketeer, I think that's where I might find the insight and those nuggets of brilliance that are going to drive my business forward.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want to see. More outside London agencies on pitch lists, but on merit, especially our agency, please.
Very well said. Very well said. Unbelievably, we're out of time. I can't believe that. We hope that we've helped shine a light on the great work, the great people, obviously the talent within agencies outside of London. We know that the debate is going to be ongoing. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to be around for the next 2 days, so come and grab us, have a chat, have a coffee, or maybe we'll see you on the dance floor. Thank you for joining us.
The Guinness.
Thank you all.
Thank you to our panel.